Today we are doing yet another review of an insanely high-end product. And right here we got the Pimax Crystal Super, and this is the QLED version, so no micro OLED. But honestly, as you can hear further on in the video, that might be worth the trade-off. So let's first see what's in the box. First we got a nice spec sheet, and right here you can already see we got the headset itself. Even though the design choices are very bold and big with this, I do think it looks fairly cool. So we got headset itself, we got the controllers, which are basically looking like the Quest 2 controllers. And at the bottom, like here, we got some additional cables and stuff like that. This is the second unit I got, so I'm not gonna unpack everything. Fun fact, originally I asked if I could review both the Super and the Air, and I got back like, oh, that's not possible because of budget reasons, and I was like, okay, fine. But when I eventually received the headset, I received two Pimax Supers, and I was like, why is this? And it's apparently, if there are any issues with the setup, then a reviewer can continue on with their video very quickly. But to me, it sounded a bit funky since I was not allowed to have two headsets to make a review on, but instead they sent me the more expensive headset twice. So for me, that was an interesting choice. I wonder how often they had any setups with the headsets. Personally, I think my experience is quite good with it. So let's pack this one up again, because I have another headset which is like fully set up. Then this one can be in prime conditions and be used by someone else once I send it back. So right here I got the fully connected Pimax Crystal, and this is just a video on my initial thoughts and also a bit more after experimentation, how it was to use the headset, both on the hardware and of course also the software side. Since this is a PCVR headset, I will not dive into the SDK too much, which I did in previous videos, as I also make VR games. This will really go into the hardware since it runs on SteamVR, it runs within Pimax own tools. Alright, with the unboxing out of the way, let's dive right into the hardware, since to be honest, if you're looking into the Crystal Super, hardware probably is going to be the thing you're focusing on. The displays are really sharp. It is 3840 by 3840, so that's almost 4K per eye, so 4K times 4K, and you really notice the resolution. For example, in the SteamVR opening scene, where you have all those lines around you, normally with compression you can see some lines, but definitely not all the way to the back. With this one you can see every line all the way to the back, and honestly that was kinda cool. Next to that, the field of view is also quite good. It is 140 degrees horizontal, if I recall correctly. And to be honest, for me, this is probably around the sweet spot. I don't think I need that much more. Within any games, I can even use my peripheral vision just fine. So I really think this is a sweet spot, and anything bigger, of course, if it is the same price, I would take it. But I don't think that it would be that big of an increase in immersion. So the FOV is just great. And lastly, the thing that really blew my socks off, the brightness. And wow, this thing can be bright. Probably a big point for this is that it plugs directly into the wall, so it does need additional power, and that might be able to help out with the brightness. It has a mini LED backlight behind the QLED displays, and that allows for local dimming, which really increases the contrast in each scene. And for example, in Half-Life Alyx, when I looked into the sky, it was so bright that I really had to get used to the brightness of the sky, which is something I have never experienced before in VR. And that honestly to me was great. I always thought that resolution and FOV was probably the biggest selling point of immersion and increases the immersion the most. But honestly, after experiencing this, it might be brightness. And also in more simple games like Beat Saber, of course you would probably not get this headset just for Beat Saber, but it does look very nice, and the reflections just made it so much better to look at. Just those crystal clear reflections, they were great to look at. So brightness is probably the biggest thing for me to recommend this headset. And last, also visually, you have eye tracking. And of course you can use this in games like VR Chat to actually have eye tracking. But the biggest thing for me is the performance implications. You can use foveated rendering, so it kind of clusters pixels together in your peripheral vision. And this already helps with performance a lot, and their claims are up to 30%, which as a developer, I honestly do believe. You also have quad views, which is something that either has to be integrated or it can be using their OpenXR runtime. That also is great, and it can deliver a way higher performance increases. They said up to 50 or 100%. And I would personally say it's around like 50 to 70% GPU performance increase for using the Quad Fuse. And that's a big improvement, especially when you're running this high of a resolution. And what that does, it basically runs the game at a variable resolution. So the point you're looking at is very sharp, maybe even sharper than it would be without it. And then your peripheral vision is just a lower resolution, and you don't really notice it since the eye tracking is faster than the displays can update. So where you look at is the thing you see sharp, and the edges are a bit more blurry, which they are also in real life. So there's no really downside to this, and it's just free performance and sometimes even a visual improvement. So if possible, do use Quad Fuse in your games. From Quad Fuse, I do want to move to the software side, and this is where Pimax doesn't have the best reputation, but it has improved a lot. Ever since I first tried out the headsets of them a few years ago, I think that was the Pimax 5K or 8K, the software was pretty rough and did have some issues, and right now the setup was fine. On the setup side, there were some images missing. I'm not sure what the issue there was, but oh well. But the setup was fine, I did up everything fine, and it did have some setup issues in the sense that the settings aren't optimal yet. By default, the automatic eye-tracked IPD adjustment is not enabled. I don't know why, since that's a great feature, which to me should be the default, since automatic IPD is great. And also stuff like Quad Fuse was disabled, and later on I found out that this is because you need to have Pimax as the OpenXR runtime. I did not have that set up, so I didn't have Quad Fuse. That probably took me an hour to research, so I hope they improved the information available. So if you just look at the UI and check the info box, it will say why you cannot disable it. Just some minor stuff like that should be great. Of course, that didn't hurt the experience, because once it was set up, I was good to go and able to enjoy it. So there are probably two more things you want to see covered. One of them is audio. You do have these basic audio straps, and to be honest, they're not the best. So if you can pick up the DMAS upgrade bundle, I think there's a deal right now for Christmas, so make sure to check the link in the description below. It is in affiliate links, it helps me out and might give you a deal. So definitely check those out, because that upgrade is probably worth it. The audio is very tinny with this, it's just basic audio. If you want any serious audio, again, use the DMAS ones, or if you have these audio systems selected, just use headphones. I did just notice there's not an audio jack on this, which is a bit of a missed opportunity. There is a USB-C port, so you can probably use a USB-C to audio jack converter. But it's a bit of a missed opportunity to me. But I think fair, if you want to upgrade them, just go with that. Next up is build quality and comfort. Of course, I cannot comment much on the long-term use. I've just used this for the past month or so. So far, nothing broke, everything feels fine. The comfort actually is fairly okay. While the top is very heavy, this head strap is also very sturdy with a very nice padded backing, a very sturdy head strap, and it doesn't hurt or anything. The foam here is also very nice actually. There are two kinds of foams. There's one which is a bit thinner for a better FOV, and there's also one for glasses that gives you a bit more space for your glasses to be there. And they feel good. It's not like you have those like edges around your eyes with the Quest 2 or something. So comfort is fine. Of course, it is a heavy headset. So after prolonged experiences, your neck might get a bit tired, especially if you play room scale games like Half-Life Alyx, where you can actually stand up and move around. It does tire out your neck, and I actually feel like I'm a bit sore from my playing session from yesterday. So do keep it in mind. Their target audience is really people who are into hardcore simulations like Flight Simulator, racing sims, and of course also stuff that just looks pretty like Half-Life Alyx. But do keep in mind, it is heavier. You will get used to it, but if you have a very long session, you will start to notice it. It does have a 5-meter cable, so that's plenty for pretty much any playing session. And it locks on like probably any other headset. Just tighten it, and it's on here. And it's honestly quite solid. Like, I can move around, and of course it does wobble a little bit. It's not too bad. When you're using it normally, you're not going to use it. You're not going to see it wobble all around, so that's great. Also, when putting it on, it does say how to put the headset. So if it's too high or too low, it will tell you to adjust the headset, which is probably done by the eye tracking system. This feature alone is probably a very useful feature, especially if you're demoing headsets. I often demo headsets to friends, colleagues, or whoever wants to try the headsets. And that has been great, since I don't have to recommend people how to put on the headset. It will tell the user how to put it on, which is very nice to me. Lastly is game support, and this is the upside of a PCVR headset. You can play any game. It works with SteamVR. Not all games support the eye tracking systems, which is fair because it's a newer system. But luckily, many games do support it, especially the higher end games like Microsoft Flight Sim. And many games that don't support it also have unofficial integrations. So if you are interested, check out if a game you want to play has the integration or can work with it. If you have any questions, of course, you can link them in the comments below, and I will test out the game or check if there's any patch available. So yeah, that's the quick review of the Pimax Crystal Super. Again, the highest end headset I have used, and the first headset that really gave me a wow moment in a very long time. So if someone starts to say that resolution or FOV is the best thing for immersion, maybe also have them look at an incredibly bright display, since it is a really different experience if you have like full brightness of a scene. So again, if you have any questions about the headset or want to know anything else, definitely let me know in the comments below. I will read every comment and try to respond as many as possible. And I hope you enjoyed the review. Let me know by dropping a like and subscribing for more VR content. And I hope I can see you in the next video.